So let's start recording. Alright, so, to get this kicked off, all of you are already aware, but for the sake of the recording, hello everybody, I'm Bonehill. I'm technically one of Author's Alters. For those who just have come from the comic and are not active or read through the Discord server, me and Zerako, and technically Muroko, but he's not here for this. We are Author's Alters. They've been diagnosed with OSDD, which is Other Specified Dissociative Disorder. It's a vibe and good time, so you're going to hear all of us talk at different points. It's probably mostly going to be my ass, because I put this damn thing together, because I am the archivist, and I love this shit. Never go to bed. I'm kidding, stay as long as you want, but... So throughout this whole thing, we have icons here. Right now mine's lit up because I am talking. At other points, authors will light up or Zerako's, depending if they want to talk, and for what, it's probably just going to be us interjecting and talking over each other, which is usually what happens.
Comment.
And yeah, so for this first chunk, we're going to try to get through up to 2014, because 2015 and 2016 are upsettingly long. A trauma disorder describes a vibe and good time as sending me. Well, you know, here we are. This is me describing it. That's how I describe everything trauma related. Let's be real. There's like so many slides in this thing, like vaguely mentioning the trauma, and I just say like, yeah, it's a good time. I just like put that shit everywhere. But yeah, so we're gonna get started, and we're gonna hope that this recording works out. I tested it. It should work. If it doesn't, I will shit and be upset about it.
And then you need to pray for me because I have to be here for that.
Yeah. And Author's mom's in the back too. You might hear her as well. Alright. Let's begin. So, Era 1, so this is 2009. Warrior Cats and shit. Quite literally, like when we tell people this started out as like a Warriors fanfiction / parody, we are not fucking kidding. It was effectively warrior cats, but fantasy cat hybrids on another planet. Depending on the version, the planet collided with Earth like two different balls of Play-Doh. Like, it was a whole thing, and none of it made sense. So we get to begin with my adorable little cat ass. Let me know if the slides are working. They should be. Seemingly this is updating properly, but let me know, obviously. This is the... technically this is not the very first drawing of me ever. Not that it matters, it just matters to me because I'm salty about it, that we can't find my first ever drawing, even though it makes sense. It was 2009. What the fuck do we have from that era anyway? Not a lot. But anyway, this was my very first appearance. And there's really not much to me. This entire page of author's notes from that time is all you're gonna get. I'm very skinny, I'm very evil, I'm very big, and I'm a big jerk, and I have ice powers. That's it. That's the plot. That's all I got going for me. Whether or not I'm an alter at this time is hard to say. It's just one of those things where it's like, where do author's memories start and where do mine begin? I don't want to click on that. I couldn't fucking tell you. But anyway, this is technically me as the character in the story. This is where I begin. The story is beautifully stupid. Where I was a part of this group of kittens. I assume we had parents. I don't know. But we called ourselves Kitten Clan. This cute little kid game would do. And we just kept that until we were adults. Like, we just didn't think to change it. It's like if you had a group chat since you were like 5, named Kitten Clan, and then you guys like graduated college and then finally realized that probably should be changed. We're technically not kittens anymore. Which is shocking. And so my ass is like, oh, I got a great name, but I'm only going to tell you, to our leader of Kitten Clan, I'll only tell you tonight at midnight in private when it's like dark and storming. Like, we literally used it was a dark and stormy night to like preface that, and I killed him. And then I was like, alright, so our new name is Bone Clan. I did not have to kill his ass to do that, but I did. And now we're evil. Everyone's evil. Congratulations. And that's it. There's really nothing else going on. I don't know what exactly the plot was of the story overall, and the ones I do remember don't matter. We'd be here too long. You could just beat him up. No, he had to die. I'm sorry. I had to be new leader, and I wasn't gonna even debate that. So next we go to 2011, because again, not a lot to share in between those years. But now I'm an anthro, or a furry now, which is very cute. I love this little drawing of like baby me, where I have like the Arrow Ace colors unintentionally. I love when we find those. So yeah, I think this is like baby me, this is like teen me, and then this is my adult ass who killed a fox. I don't know what that is, but I killed something. Still same personality. There's nothing much to say here other than fangons, which that's a term we had since the beginning of the story. We just kept it because we don't know how to change words. Effectively, whenever a Fangon turns 18, they either turn evil or good, though they usually are born evil, because that's a thing. I was born good, God knows why, and I turned evil anyway, so that didn't matter. Killed everybody, because that's how I roll. Yeah, as a villain, that was like, it's like a joke where it's like, slaughtering was my hobby. Not as like, in an even gross way. It was just something I would say in roleplays constantly, where I'm like, oh, BRB, I gotta go slaughter someone. Oh, by the way, I gotta go slaughter. Oh, let me go slaughter someone. Like, I just said the word slaughter way too much to the point where it just had no meaning. And you know, I love that for me. Slay King. Then we got 2012. This is actually when we do start the roleplays, and which is funny because author made the mistake of letting me roleplay with other characters, and I've been an alter ever since. Like literally at default mood in 2011 was slaughter. But yeah, like genuinely when author just started letting me roleplay with other characters, we started talking a lot more, and at that point at least I was an alter. For all I know I was earlier as well, but at the end of the day there's just such little documentation from this era until now when we're like online talking with other kids that like there's a lot to unpack with stuff that author was typing. Personality, I'm starting to get at least a little bit more depth because I am talking more, which is helpful, but also not really. Oh, looks at our past convos. There's a fuck ton. Still angry, still murderous, but now I'm conscious, which is just worse. Not like I did anything. I was just an angry voice in author's head. Not in a bad way, I was just screaming. Eventually I do become a caretaker alter. Not yet, I'm still angry and screaming. I'm just the screaming alter. And that's, again, not a ton here. This is a cute drawing author did of me, and this was not intentionally supposed to be Minecraft Diamond Armor, but author was into Minecraft at this time, so it might as well be Diamond Armor, because especially this cute little doll that Zay made, it's Diamond Armor. I even have a little lightsaber here. This was supposed to be like a little icicle, like pick sort of sword. Everybody said it looked like a lightsaber, and it made author so angry at the time. Not really like livid, but just like upset because that's not what it was supposed to look like, but it does. And we still have this doll. We just lost the little gauntlets because they weren't attached. They were like, you could put them on and off, which was a bad mistake because now they're gone. Yeah, if the stream is cutting out, let me know. Let's be real, it could be on our end. We have an old shit-ass computer trying its best. Could be anything. Oh, true. That's fair. Okay. So now we get our protagonist. She's been around the entire time in the story. Like, when in 2009 I was created, so was this character. We didn't have art previously that I could find that mattered. This is Thundertail, who we will abbreviate to Thunder because eventually Thunder was all she went by. She basically was the author self-insert, ? Now knowing alter stuff, who knows how that plays into things, but at the very least, very similar to author at the time. She had all the elements, because we're elemental fantasy cats, so I had ice. She has fire, water, earth, lightning, and wind. Not ice, because ice is like a Fangon exclusive package. No one else gets ice except for our evil asses. And the whole like warrior cats thing was there was fire clan, water clan, earth clan, like they were all the elemental clans. So she was in fire clan but had all the elements because her dad did ice for evils only, literally. It was gatekeeping ice. And for some reason, both of them, both her dad and herself, who have all these elements, couldn't defeat me. I don't know why. I don't deserve that kind of power, but apparently I was just that good. She was either 11 or 13. She just kind of aged up with Author up until... No, yeah, just kept aging up with Author, actually. Now that I think about it, that just kept being a thing. And literally the embodiment of her character, it wasn't just the ice. You disgusted them with your food crimes. No, it's true. No one wanted ice because I just made it disgusting. But yeah, her whole thing, she was quite literally the classic undiagnosed ADHD autistic kid who, wow, acts so mature for their age, but also is super inexperienced and has very explosive, volatile emotions they don't know how to deal with, which for Thunder just came in the form of she has all these elements and sometimes they just explode out of her, sort of thing. Good old time. We have some drawings here. This is 2013. Zerako doesn't come until the very late end of this year, so we're going to get to him in a second. But otherwise, cute drawing of me and Thunder, which is basically me and Author. This is definitely more so when I'm taking caretaker stuff. Hello, Crunchy. This is a drawing that Author's brother did. We just like obsessively showed this to everyone. This was like my drawing ever. We love this. This is where my black ice armor, like, I think even started to be a thing we tried to draw, so then here's us trying to like recreate it almost like pose for pose. It's very cute. I had another eye, but Author literally just blatantly refused to draw it, and that's I admire that. That takes guts. Everyone else got 2 eyes, by the way, just not my ass, which is also even funnier. And then this is just a funny drawing we found of me in like one of the role plays, and this is just kind of the embodiment of how me and Author mainly interacted when I wasn't like trying to kind of take care of them. It was just Author being like, Bonehill, are you okay? And I'm just yelling shut up at them. Back away slowly. It's classic. Ooh, yeah, so now we get to story stuff. So originally this was not going to be a comic. It wouldn't be for quite a few years. It started out as a novel. So this is my very first, like, good chunk that I was written in the story. In previous things, I was just kind of mentioned and never really written into the damn thing. So I will let Author narrate because I'm deadpan and horrible to listen to. Let's make sure their icon is up. There we go. I'm trying to look at my keyboard. She gasped in horror, standing menacingly in front of... Jesus Christ. Bono's been talking too long, I forgot how to talk. Standing menacingly in front of her was the tallest Sakura she's ever seen. His fur was sleek and almost blinding white except for the skull pattern on his forehead. His eyes were a piercing blue like the ice surrounding her. His ears curved up like horns, and he clad strong black ice armor. Because it was so dark in hue, not even the sun's rays could highlight it. The air around him was a chilling cold. Her fur stood up on the back of her neck, and her skin prickled with goosebumps. "Hello," he said, his voice just as cold as the air around him. It brought more fear creep into her heart. Her boldness melted away, and now she was only scared. So scared, her mouth refused to move. I should clarify, I was a villain during this time as well. Just in case me killing people was not obvious, I was the villain for a very long time. "I asked you a question," he said, still sounding calm but eerie. "I'd advise you answered it." He would do that now, yeah, stand with a fucking jar of mayonnaise scaring her. We need to fucking rewrite that, that'd be so funny. Where was I? She knew instantly she shouldn't trust whoever he was, but fear convinced her that if she did not answer truthfully, he would surely find out. It's just my ass, just like holding a spoon of mayo, just threateningly in her face. I'm just gonna like, fling it at her. She could barely move her mouth, but she somehow managed to talk. "I'm Thunderleaf from Fire Clan." "A novice, eh? I'm surprised you travel this far from the training area. Now, why is that?" I had a day off. Her instinct struck her like a spear in her mind. She shouldn't have told him that. The menacing smile from his face vanished and his brow furrowed. "Last time I heard a novice getting a day off was..." He hesitated, and his eyes narrowed, and his glare brought Thunderleaf trembling. "Impossible," he whispered to himself, as he began to step closer and closer to her. Thunder felt the surging power build up in her veins, but the cold air trapped it inside. Yet her eyes still flashed violet in the reflection of the ice. He grabbed her by the throat. His paw held her firmly, but did not strangle her yet. The rumors are true. You are the third child of Tiger Sky. Yeah, so here's the thing. This is why this is so fucking funny. Is because, apparently, this is a plot point that no one else is fucking allowed to take breaks. Hold on, my computer's freaking the fuck out. Okay, there we go. The key things are not working, apparently, if I'm not in OBS. Yeah, no, unless you have too much power, you just fuck you don't get any days off. Apparently that is literally a plot point that I found. Literally. This is a fucking piece on American capitalistic culture. This is so fucking funny when I found this version. I was like, this is the dumbest, but also the most real part of the story. So anyway. Effectively, yeah, I'm just being kind of an ass. Excuse me. Saying how easy she would be to destroy. She wasn't. She got rescued, like, right after this. But yeah, so that's... This is why this is just so fun. It's ridiculous, the shit we accidentally, like, put into our stories and shit. So this is one of the first things we found early in, like, documentation of me being a caretaker alter. We have a thing where author posted, like, he may be a villain, but he still cares, just like Bonehill. Okay, I was talking about someone else there. Or as they were. I was like, I leave you on your own when you're cold, fuck you. But they were like, no, you cool me down when I'm hot, give me a bit of extra strength with Jim, you talk to me, you carry big old softy. Which is fucking adorable. And this was one of the things where, like, I know, literally, we didn't realize how early I was an alter. Like, with me and Zerako, we were like, oh yeah, by 2015 we were, sure. Or at least started. And it's like, no, you were for a very long time. Because 2015 is kind of when our big trauma catalyst happened. But apparently, if you're socially isolated as a neurodivergent kid, that is its own kind of trauma. Oops. So, congrats. I am your new internal best friend. One of the worst ones you could have picked, but here I am. So now we get to Era 2. Now 50% less furries. Oh yeah, and the story was called Felines of Terithia. That's what these little quotes here are at the bottom, is what the title of the story was at the time. We just had to change it because Terithia sounded a lot like Terabithia, and, you know, that didn't want to get into copyright stuff if we ever published our books, or whatever, or get it confused. So now the story was just called Thunder, because it's about Thunder, she's the main character. But most importantly, my husband is here. I love him. He hates this era of himself. Like, not as bad as before, but, like, he just does not like who he was as a person, and that's fair. He was trash. That being said, I love him. Look at him. He's very orange. He also has a belt and pants and shoes, and that's just... jeans, rather, and that's just wrong. Like, the whole outfit is like, that's not my husband. That's not who he is. But... he was created in about August 2013, and this is where Pink Dream, who is Spec, Discord server in the chat now. This is where you come in, bestie. Effectively, Spec wanted to know if I saw them as a little sister, which is also so single core of us to do. Literally, like, this really should have shown us. Some shit that, like, me and Spec talked all the time, when, you know, I'm not real, I'm a character, actually. So it was like a whole thing. Author and Spec were like, oh, let's see if Bonehill, like, you know, really cares about Spec, which of course I do, but I'm also a villain and a tsundere, so no one could tell. So literally they created Zerako, the character, to harass Spec's ass in the group chat until I would, like, come in and, like, beat his ass. No, literally. Okay, us too, though, let's be real. Like, it worked. Yeah, like, yeah, of course I care about Spec, so I beat the shit out of Zerako. So quite literally, he was created to spite me, I like to say. He had, like, fire, smoke, and fear illusion powers. That's not really important. It never came up in the story. It's just what he kind of had in this very brief period of his life. He was also a very flirty, perv, sort of, rude, mean, arrogant, just an ass. Like, similar It was the genes, the source of power. Yeah, is the relic of ages. To be fair, he kept the genes like way longer than he should have. But yeah, he was just awful. Like similar, like when he typed, he would yell in all caps. Like it has similar energies to his cadence, I should say. It just came from a different place. And then Zerako actually also became an alter really fucking quickly. Like at the very beginning, sure he wasn't. But when he became active in roleplays, like lines up when Author was going through a period of really bad RSD with social life, and funny enough, Zerako for his entire alter career, his entire alterhood, like stuck with him. Like he's like the RSD alter. Like he really really struggled with that and like other like social stuff, and that would check. And sure enough, there's a whole convo we're about to get to, where I was roping him into being a caretaker alter only, like, just a month later. Yeah, oh yeah, Neb, you talked to us, I think, more so, like, 2015, 2016, 2017. This is even earlier, which is so much more chaos. His entire career, yeah. Are the jeans in a drawer on the ship somewhere buried under the clothes? Probably. If he hasn't burned them yet. And December 2013, first humanoid conception. Shout out to Renmaro Games. She was a real one. So this was the very first time we ever conceptualized myself as a humanoid and not a big-ass furry dude. For real. I miss Renmaro Games. She got us through some shit. Here's Zerako before he got the red hair, so he still had the either orange or ginger or whatever the fuck was going on. His design, his appearance was like flickering in and out of what any of us wanted it to be. Thunder also basically just kind of looked like Author initially. Ooh, I missed the Wolf Creator game, the fuck? So here was something we found, that I found very recently as I was like working on this fucking slideshow. Because like we were like, okay, Zerako at least became an alter several months, and no, it just took a month, just one. On January 2014, he starts becoming less of an awful person. At least he is trying so hard. So this first one, this was something Author sent to Spec as like, here's a funny thing that happened during my day. Both of these are. This first one is, so last night Bonehill happened to get into the beer ? I don't know what that means, cause really what this is getting to is I was just sleeping in and just not around to mentally accompany Author to the bus stop, which I'm just a sleepy guy, and I was sleepy this was a character trait I had. So I don't know what the fuck the beer's about, because it's not like Author got into that at age fucking 13 or whatever the hell, and maybe I tried that, fucking Mindscape beer, I don't know. And apparently Zerako got into the Oreos. Okay. We got into a fight, sure. Next thing I know, this is Author. I wake up, I go downstairs, I see a drunken Fangon passed out on my couch. What's up? And Zerako sprawled out on the carpet snoring. I try to wake Bonehill, but he ain't moving, because I'm a sleepy guy. So I wake Zerako, who's more easily awoken. Now that Zerako's just being nicer, he agrees to accompany Author at the bus stop, like apparently I usually did. Author tells him, okay, bundle up, it's negative weather out there, and Zerako's like, yeah, I know. Puts on a sweatshirt, and it's like, negative degrees in Fahrenheit in particular, which is deathly cold. And Zerako raises an eyebrow at them. They sigh and say, here, let me show you, and got him 3 jackets, 2 hats, 1 hood, a huge scarf around his face, and giant mittens. There, ready? This is Zerako just giving a very slow thumbs up, while just, like, completely bundled in, like, a burrito coat. Very adorable. And then this one in particular, this is really where the caretaker shit, like, comes in. Me and Zerako having a telepathic conversation, which was also, a thing. That's so vivid, that's so funny. Which was also a thing, too, as a character. I had, telepathy powers. I kept that till, like, 2019. Fanguns had telepathy for way longer than was ever remotely necessary. But either way, we're all in the same headspace, so this is just me and Zerako screaming at each other. And Zerako will join me to read this out. It just might not register our keys highlighting our voice in the thing, unfortunately. So Zerako was sitting next to Author. He was going to walk some home, part of his Big Brother training, which is also a funny thing. Instead of being a caretaker altar, which is what it's usually called now, we called it Big Brother training, which is adorable. Bonehill, Rufus, somebody! Oh my god! By the way, hello. I have the strong Minnesotan accent. Rufus also was. Don't worry who that is. He was just a character. Hi, Spec. 5 minutes later, Bono finally comes in to save my ass. Zerako, what the fuck's going on with you? Okay, we didn't say fuck, but I want to. Oh, never mind. I thought Katie was going to faint or something. That was Author. His nickname as a kid. What happened? Well, she was freaking out because she thought she was going to miss high school fucking registration, apparently, because of jazz band thing on Friday. I don't know. Is she okay? She was internally hyperventilating, but I think she's okay now, I think. Did you try to calm her down? I can't calm people down, you know that. That's your job. It's your job now. If you want to be a good brother, you honestly have to help when she freaks out like that. I was trying, but I was just making it worse. Don't scream. Seriously, I get enough of that when talking to you in person, which, by the way, what the fuck does that mean? Where do we talk in person? We are in the mindscape. I know, this is so singlet core. Look at us being so not real right now. Just make sure she gets home safe. Yeah, okay. Got to go. The bus is stopping. Good luck, young grasshopper. That a freaking insect! No, sadly, but you are my apprentice. It says who? Says Author. Now get out there and do what you were forced to do. Which is, no, so funny. Like, literally, like, we joked that Zerako and I start interacting a lot, and therefore I raptured him into the headscape. As Time likes to say, and that was actually literally what I did. I literally raptured his ass into the caretaking altar duties, and that's just never not gonna be funny. But this year, DPs are created. Oh my god, I'm skipping things. Here we go. DPs, yay, love that. So this is the very first drawing of Muroko, too, on the side. I'm trying to take one of our jackets off. So, DPs that stood for Dragon Protectors. That's not what it stands for in current day. I think it stands for Diverse People now. Mainly because DPs, again, that was a name we just couldn't change once we had it ingrained in our vernacular. Oh, it was, okay, to be fair, Dragon Person was also a thing. I think it went from Dragon Protector to Dragon Person to Diverse People. So you're not entirely wrong. That's just not what it currently is. Because technically, our gods are all dragons, so technically we're all dragon people, and it's like a whole thing. Anyway. And it was a whole thing where, for a brief time, DPs could only speak dragon speak, which was just cats. Literally just RPing cats, like, it's just, like, meowing, hissing, growling, roaring like a dragon, but, like, it was basically cats. Because Author's obsessed with cats, and we're not past our warrior roots. You think I meant like a lion, you'd think. I don't know what the roars were. They didn't sound human, let me just put it that way. Warrior roots, let's go, you know it. They protected the dragons, ? Because why? Like, I'm not even sure what the dragons are not gods in this era of the comic, but the story rather. You fucking tell me what they're doing at all, I don't know. I thought they were very powerful, big elemental beings, but I don't know, fuck it. They need protection with these little dudes. So initially, every DPs had dragon scars, which stood for a while, but at this point they were like a pattern in their hair, then it became a tattoo on the back of the hand. Dragon scars were still, honestly, a really dope kind of concept. In the sense of dragon scars just sounds really cool. And their hair was also shaped like horns, because fuck you, Author, you get to draw this 500 times. So Muroko's, some of his spikes were actually, like, 3 different, like, little horns that were just, like, it's like if you, like, took, like, just a shit ton of spike gel and just, like, lathered your hair in it and just made, like, these spikes that just, like, hardened and couldn't move. It was like that. And at this point, DPs all had, like, pure white skin with colorful hair, no tails yet. And that's how we get Muroko. And also Taiku for the OGs that remember that little guy. So we got Muroko. So this was a drawing we used for a long time of him. So this is, I say a long time, I say for a year. He had this fucking... See, here's the thing, Spec. It's not even blue. It was supposed to be blue-purple, but it depends on your monitor, because some people... Because it's like literally just the most saturated indigo you can fucking get. So on some monitors he's blue, on some monitors he's purple. God help you to figure out what the fuck which one it is. There you go. You got the blue one. It's like the fucking dress where it's like, is it white or gold or blue and black or whatever that thing was from like 2016? That's Muroko's hair. What color do you see? God. So now DPs speak common tongue. I'm listening to this like it's a podcast and it's great. God bless. That's what I want out of this. But as babies, DPs would still kind of talk in like that dragon speak where they would like meow and stuff. Phone, don't turn off on me. What are you doing? We got two blue-haired. And so Muroko had a little brother named Taiku, who's a Sun DP, and he never grew out of the dragon speak thing, or the Drasling stage, I think it was called. So his classic thing was he would just mew. He would just go mew with the cute little :3 emoticon. Taiku's so autism core. We love him. Not sure I just saw Crunchy or hear Crunchy make a sad noise. But yeah, Taiku was a big thing for a very long time as well. Like, Taiku and Muroko were like kind of basically the sun and moon, because Muroko was a shadow DP, still is technically, and Taiku was what was called a sun DP, but really light DP, and they were always interconnected. Yeah, Taiku can definitely read like a nonverbal autistic person, or whatever else, and everyone loved Taiku. Taiku's the champ. You can't hate him. Basically Muroko is very protective over Taiku, because Taiku is a wee lad, does not know. To be fair, Taiku could fairly handle his own, I like to think. Taiku would bite a bitch, but it is in Muroko's being at all points to be very protective. And so the whole thing with Savani fire, technically when DPs were created, the term Savani was as well. Fuck me if I could tell you what that even meant in this part of the lore. I don't know. It was related to fire. I don't know in what way. Like, it could still be holy dragon fire, just in whatever way that meant in the lore. Which I don't know what that meant in the lore. I know Muroko at the very beginning started out with it. I think in this version he doesn't have it. I don't know. I really don't remember. It was... I couldn't tell you what it even meant, let alone if the man has it. This is also when he becomes a blacksmith. He didn't become a mechanic until way, way later. So right now he's a swordsmith, so he's got a sword. He's a swordsman. Way calmer than our current Muroko, albeit still distrusting and edgy. As you can tell, he's got, his little grumpy face. He's also 6 feet tall. Our current Muroko is, I think, 4'11" or 5 feet or something. And we'd love to see it. Alright, where are we? Oh yes, my husband. He's red now. And he gets... So, Zerako did not have a story. He was technically not a part of the Thunder story. Until now. It didn't take long, just took like a couple months. But like, that was his whole thing. That partly made him kind of edgy and trigger his RSD, because like, he didn't have a story with everybody else. He was very edgy and emo about it, and upset. I mean, I get it. I make fun of him, but like, that does suck when you're in a mindscape of everybody else has a story and you don't. But now he does, because now he makes sense. Because again, we were furries for the longest time. It's not even until DPs, until like Muroko, that we get like more humanoid-looking bitches in this thing. And now Zerako makes more sense. And now he's red. He's a fire DP, and he's no longer weird orange. And yeah, he's a Savani for sure, but again, I don't know what that meant in this lore. He just is. Yeah, and alright, see ya, Neb. Thanks for vibing. Oh, see ya, Misko and Neb. Thank you so much for joining. It's always a good time. No pressure to come back. Do whatever works for you. Yeah, like, I think the Savani gift might have been what gave Zerako a tan, compared to all the other DPs that had, like, the pure white skin. I don't know. You fucking tell me. Hold on, I gotta burp again. Excuse me. Pumpkin spice latte does that to a bitch. It's a Muroko story. Apparently, Muroko and Taiku were orphans living on the street. Muroko was ostracized because he's a shadow DP. So at the time, I was, you got shadow powers. Oh, you're evil. Oh, if we don't like that, it's scary. That's it. Is Taiku standing on something? Okay, that picture in the corner, that's them as little babies. This is them as toddlers. Technically, he was only 2 years younger than Muroko. To be fair, it doesn't really show in that image very well either. I mean, to be fair, I think Taiku... Because he was 14. He's definitely short. I just can't remember how short. But like, he was 14, so like he was still like at least 5 feet. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't think we ever decided that. That's just me shitting things out. But yeah, so it was a whole story thing. DPs were about to get into a war with the, the clans. Anime eyes popping off. Thank you. And apparently, why the DPs were getting into a war changed depending on the story iteration. And Muroko knew his people wouldn't win, which is funny because they literally have dragons. That's kind of whack, but okay. So Muroko's like, alright, so we're not gonna win the war. What if I just, like, cause the volcano we live under to erupt and kill everybody? And then there's no war. And this is what we call Muroko's genocide era. Because what the shit? Like, he gets a bit more sympathetic, motives or reasonings. Oh, Spec, do you not remember this? Oh boy. Congrats, I'm glad you get to learn now. This was 2014. This is the year of fucking chaos and whack-ass shit. So yeah. That's Muroko's line of thinking, and we love that for him. And it was like a whole thing where Thunderleaf was, yeah, if you don't remember anything in 2014, that would track, because there was a lot happening in 2014. So it was a whole thing in the story. Thunderleaf was trying to find allies to fight me, because again, I'm still the villain. And so Thunderleaf went to the DPs to, get them as allies to fight against my ass. And then Thunder just walks in on the whole city just burning up and blames me, which is funny because I don't think I knew DPs existed. I don't know who these people are. Blame it on my ass. Thunderleaf saves Muroko and Taiku and stuff, and then like way later in the story it's revealed that, oh, Muroko did this to his own people. Oh, no. So it's so good. It's like town on fire, blame the ice guy. I know, like this is... I'm getting fucking framed. And yeah, at some point in Muroko's story, he absorbs his dragon's soul and becomes immortal, and therefore watches everyone die because he's just the angsty boy. And then he lives on to Zerako's story, which is the next slide here, because Zerako's story is in the same universe, it's just 300 years in the future, so his was a sequel series / book. So unfortunately there's not a lot written on Zerako for a little while. You froze it so hard it Uno reversed itself and burst into flames. Sure fucking did. That'd be so funny. Dude, I feel like there could be some scientific combustion of like elements or something to like justify that potentially happening. I don't know how I would manage, but I'm sure someone could explain it. Anyway, so Zerako's story. He steals apples. Yeah. There you go. That's what freezer burn is, trust me. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, Zerako, to be fair, I say, we joke that he just was stealing apples. He was just a thief in general, because he was also ostracized in his story, because his whole thing was, because Muroko just killed almost every single DP in existence, there was, very few numbers who were left alive, and so they intermingled with the... I'm trying to remember when this came about. Was this Zerako? Because technically, I was about to say, they intermingled with the furries. But if I remember right, it was after we, stopped being furries and we became humanoids. Like, by 2015, for sure, that's what the plot was. So I actually don't know if that's what it was doing in 2014. But anyway, not important. Zerako still being someone who has DP powers still was like bad in his story. So we had to steal, and the only drawings we have are him stealing apples. Like, it's just like, to be fair, I think it's like a whole animatic author was trying to make, and it was just Zerako stealing apples. It was just very funny. Which now is my thing. I like apples. I don't steal them, I just like them. And then Muroko lives on into Zerako's book because of the immortal bullshit, and becomes Zerako's mentor. No, literally, we made that joke where it's like, maybe Zerako was stealing apples because he was stealing them from me, ooh. But yeah. So it's an interesting thing in this version because Muroko is Zerako's mentor, and now it's very much Uno reversed itself in the current comic, and we just love that. We were not intentionally doing that, that's just kind of how it happened, which, since we're alters and things are just kind of happening, that makes sense. And there's a whole thing, time loop stuff, where Zerako managed to go back in time, because some fucks had time powers. I think it was the Tassin. Again, that was also a term from way back when. In current comic, it's the water people. In this version, I don't know, they're just people with time powers. Cool. So Zerako goes back in time, sees the destruction of his people, and how his whole story got catalyst. And he actually, like, saves Muroko back then. It's like a whole, like, time loop thing. And there's a cute drawing of Muroko, who had a dragon form, like, protecting Zerako right here. Love that. Very cute. Here's me and Zerako's relationship with each other as alters in the headspace. There's so much. We were very, very fucking chatty in 2014. Here's me talking to someone, I don't know what, and I say, "How unreasonable of her," takes sword and points it at Zerako. "Unless you want this to end badly for you, step aside and let it go." Zerako glares and shuts up. Thunderleaf, "How'd you do that? Is your sword magical?" I'm like, no, he just knows better than to start a who's hotter war with me. Like, apparently me and Zerako were just standard anime boys yelling about who's hotter, because why does that ever fucking matter? Not the fixation on that. Literally, what the fuck? Oh my god. Love, especially because I'm still a furry, by the way, let's remember that. I'm still a furry. And I'm gonna yell, who's hotter? Clearly it's my ass. Something I say, I'd be pretty okay with that, and Zerako screams no, and I'm like, might leave him there to die though, and he's like, hey, and I do the 3 phase, like, that's cursed, I'm gonna do it again. Like, I'm not my calm, I don't give a shit lazy attitude sort of, vibe that I give off now. I would yell, and apparently make the 3 face. And all kinds of emoticons. I had a wide range at my disposal. And Zerako being like, yeah, well, in my book, when it gets published, I'll have a swarm of fangirls, like, oh my god, FNAF RPs? Terrifying. I'm not ready for those. And I'm like, Zerako having a swarm of fangirls is not a very good thing. Zerako's like, I don't care, as long as they make cool fan art of me, and I'm just like, lol. Here's the funny thing about that, too, is I actually did get a fangirl, was one of Author's friends, and I never wanted a fangirl after that point. And let me tell you why. She scared the shit out of me. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, she disliked me as a character or something. No, it was, she was the fangirl you would be scared of. Like, on one hand, she would, like, because Author had, like, a little doll of me, which we're going to see, I think. Like, I got a doll this year in 2014, so we're going to see that in a second. Doing first spec, I don't think you would remember this as much. I don't know, we probably did tell you, but even if we did, you wouldn't remember. But this is still, like, this is, like, IRL, like, lore that we have, because this is a friend at school. And she would, like, take the little doll that Author had of me, and, like, she would ask to have it. But, like, I wouldn't say I got, like, abused as a doll, but just, like, one of, like, the friends would, like, try to, like, stab me with, like, little screws, because we were in tech ed class, so, like, she had to give them back to Author, like, really quick. And then in actual, like, role plays, because that's where I thrive, that's where I'm living, like, that friend was actually, like, genuinely creepy towards me and all this kind of stuff, and, like, obsessed. And I got scared real quick out of that fucking attitude. Yeah, we talked about everything, so I'm sure we probably brought it up to some extent, but I couldn't tell you where. But yeah, so I was like, wow, yeah, I'd love fangirls, because I was like that, you know, very arrogant, like, oh, I'm so popular, and Yeah, we're technically not friends with that person anymore. Not for that reason. We just went to different schools and we just stopped talking. Shout out to them. I hope they're doing well. You later. Never mind. I don't want this. I got scared out of it just so quickly. It did not take long. First fangirl, worst fangirl. I never wanted whatever again. And there you go. Which is also very alter core of me to have such, I don't know, a strong response to an IRL thing. But yeah, anyway, that's my piece on it, because it was a whole thing that happened, and I was done spooked. Yeah, I felt vindicated, because I was telling you, it's not gonna end well for you, and I was fucking right. Yeah, literally, the RSD did not help. And there was one where Zerako, was trying to find the volcano that, like, overlooks Seattle, because we were visiting Seattle, and he, couldn't find it. And of course, it's literally Mount Rainier is what the volcano is. What is that click in the top left? Click in the top left. What do you mean? I don't like how you're talking to me that way. It just says, oh, there. I love how you're like, what's in the top left? And I'm like, where? And I'm over here in the top right. We all have directional issues. Yeah, no, that's just like click to add title. Because technically we're not in slideshow mode, because it panics its ass, because we have so many slides, like, it can't function unless I'm in, like, edit mode. But yeah, so Zerako is trying to find Mount Rainier, where it's rainy, and so the poor man just comes back soaked and shivering, and apparently I'm referencing something from a video we haven't gotten to yet, but yeah, I took, like, a picture of him, the great Zerako defeated by a rain shower. You look adorable when you're so scared. That was a whole thing. Yeah, cat face is from a cute video we did that's also super alter core. It's very funny. And then there's just random times where me and Zerako were, like, fine with each other. Also, Zerako would just randomly take off his shirt constantly. I know, this is so gay. Literally, 2014 is so funny, because we hated each other, right? And you're gonna see some slides where it's like, no, you were married, actually. This is literal marriage we're looking at. Literally, we were literally enemies to lovers IRL, and it's never not funny. But yeah, Zerako would always, like, randomly take off his shirt. Before now, he just is constantly shirtless, but back then, he had to keep making it happen. He wanted to go to Alabama, because it's warm down there, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, good luck getting there. Zerako attempts getting there, and I'm like, I don't even know how he's trying. And yeah, he needs to escape his confines. To be fair, Zerako's very autism core. He has very, like, sensory issues with clothes, which is why he is shirtless, because he can't have form-fitting clothing. He needs baggy, loose wear. And this is where it starts. We have the fangirl thing in here twice. But yeah, this is the one where it's where apparently I give Zerako coffee, and he goes, like, really excited, like, yay, and snatches it. And I'm like, I always give him his morning coffee. What's he so excited about? When did you ever fucking do that on a daily goddamn basis? Is what I want to know. Because what the fuck is that? This is the only instance where we wrote this down, and apparently, every single day, this is so marriage. This is marriage right here, is what this is. It's fucking ridiculous. Also, why am I giving Zerako coffee? The man really did not need it in this era. He was hyper off his ass, because so was Author. We're just in a very hyper ADHD brain. Like, now it's obviously the reverse. I need my coffee. In fact, I just had, like, a pumpkin spice latte before just getting this started, because I'm the coffee whore. But no, apparently, I give him his coffee every morning. That's just as a nicety. I'm not even being an ass about it. Like, what the fuck's that about? I don't know. But gay. Also, this is also very funny. This is part of a game of, like, what would you do? So it was like, Bonehill, what would you do if Zerako told you he loved you, and he started wearing blue, dyed his hair blue, made little signs with a heart around your face on them, and back then I was like, slowly walks away. I am seriously considering on murdering him if it comes to that. And Zerako ran away to barf. Which, once we found that, like, years later, like, me and Zerako are obviously, like, married, I was like, see, none of that concerns me, except the man's dyeing his hair blue and wearing blue. That's wrong. That's incorrect. That would concern me a lot. Now, maybe I would murder him because of that. No, I'm kidding. But, like, Zerako's very, like, he actually used to, like, hate the color blue for a while. Probably because I was blue, and therefore he hated it in response. But he's always loved warm colors. Like, now he really loves orange, but for a very, very long time, If he were blue, he would die, literally. Dabba dee daboo die. But yeah, he loved the color red. Like, red was almost like one of his special interests, effectively, because he loved the color red so much. If he saw red, he would just scream it in the headspace all the time. And even to this day, he's a very warm color boy. He loves all his warm colors. He doesn't hate blue, which would be awkward because I'm now actually blue. But he wouldn't wear it necessarily unless it had like a lot of other colors going on. So that would still make me concerned. Yeah. What would I do about it? I don't know. But and here we got horns. Why couldn't I keep them? Like, I don't get horns until like 2017. So in this Rimaro like Halloween version, I get horns for like 2 seconds, and I'm so happy. And it's just. I love Rimaro because it makes us just look like the anime boys we just absolutely were in energy and everything else. This is a cute Easter drawing that author did, where Zerako discovers the color yellow exists. How he's wearing blue pants and being okay with it, I'm not sure. Also, side note, he was wearing jeans for a very long, like I say a very long time, a good couple years, and never like gave a shit about that, even though jeans are blue. He's too distracted by the yellow. He probably is. We joke that this is when he discovers other colors other than red exist. And also here's Thunderleaf, very cute. These are two characters that don't matter in this context. Shout out to them, but they don't matter. There's too much to go over. Let's see. Look at him, my husband. This was a drawing we redraw a lot, and we need to do it again. This is one of the most important Zerako pieces of the day. As this one too, we redrew a lot, where he's running around shirtless and throwing fire everywhere. Technically, I think he was shirtless a lot more than we drew him, and I think that was just because drawing, abs and anatomy is very hard, so author just didn't do it. Because now he's almost always shirtless. If not, he's in a tank or a dress. Back then he was in a shirt, but I'm sure, again, he wanted to break from the confines anytime he could. This one's just very cute, him a little angry, in his little angry tears. Him eating a chocolate pie. Zerako's not a big sweet person now. But back then he absolutely was. Mans is trying to, medicate his RSD with sugar. I would not be surprised. Very cool, we love it. My dumb hairy ass and Author and Thunder. So yeah, there's also not a ton of drawings of... I would say there's not a ton of drawing me in 2014 as a cat. Just not a lot of, actual ones that effort was put into. Alright, no worries, Dart. And then here's cute little Thundertail. This is one of our favorite drawings of her ever. This is a cute little comic of me and Author. There's no dialogue, but I'm pretty sure Author's just, came up with a story idea, bring it up to me, and then started screaming. Because that's pretty much how we interacted all the time in this era. Skinny White Boy Hours, OMG, Anime Muroko. It's so cursed. I remember showing this to the Discord server when you people did not believe me, that Muroko was not only tall, but he was a skinny white boy. And it is cursed. I do love how DPs, obviously now are not all, pure white-skinned, obviously, but Muroko still is, just because, and it does make sense, he's probably inside absolutely all the time. It's just very funny. God bless you, Spec. That means a lot to Author. Because the Author, to be fair, me and Zerako also love a lot of Author's art throughout the ages. We're much nicer to it than they are sometimes, but we're also, we're the caretaker Author, so we're look at what our kid made. We're gonna put it on the fridge. Oh, God bless you. Yeah, we were, Author was really proud of this Muroko piece for a very long time, and it makes sense. This was one of our best pieces of the year. Checks out. We got a little young Muroko, side profiles. This one's a bit more very late 2014, but I did not care to make this that chronological. Here, for those who have caught up with Chapter 2, if not, don't worry, but this is just one of the new antags that we have introduced. This is Milo in Artico. This is the very first time we ever see them. And back then, Z was... a dark sorcerer for me or something. I don't know. Just one of my underlings. Literally, there's barely anything. The fact that we have a drawing for one, let alone found it, is incredible. So this is what Milo looked like in the furry days. And this is what Z looks like now, and we love that. This is just more art. This is a bunch of Zerako and Muroko interacting, which they did a lot. And again, the roles are just completely flipped, which is also funny, because technically the age is in the story, but the ages are kind of shrug, because we had no concept of ages. We all were kind of growing up with author, I like to think. So technically I was 25, but let's be real, I was acting like a goddamn preteen with author, and so was Zerako, who was 20. Muroko's 16. Yet Muroko technically acted the most mature, kind of, but we were all just kids. We didn't know numbers. Math sucks. So this is like one where Zerako and Muroko are dancing shirtless. Like, Muroko wouldn't do this normally. This, even back then, was like, whoa, Zerako got Muroko to dance with him, like, shirtless? That's crazy. Now, this obviously would never happen. Muroko's very guarded, very fully clothed all the time. Mad respects. So this is even more cursed to look back at this shit. This is one where Muroko's climbing a tree. Zerako did not know how to climb trees, which is weird, because I think as a thief you would need to know at least a little parkour, but I think that was just Zerako was a big city boy, and not living in the wilderness like I think Muroko was. Holy shit, Muroko's strength. Muroko was also very... Well, dude, Muroko still is very strong. But then as well, just like lifting our mans by one arm. This is a cute one. We visited San Diego. Zerako's like, I love San Diego because it's sunny and it's hot. And Muroko is like, you say that now, but I'm pretty sure you're going to complain our hotel isn't red enough. And I think it was actually fairly red, so he was okay. One where they're canoeing. Like, basically wherever Author went, Author drew us hanging out with them because we wanted to be included. So Zerako's just drowning in the background while Muroko and Taiku are having fun in the kayaks or whatever they're doing. Because it's not a canoe, it's a kayak. Saying about him, ref, literally. Zerako being like, I hate climbing. Muroko's like, you just say that because you suck at it. Excuse me. Muroko's attitude was fairly similar. In the sense that he has attitude, but very, very much more calm than he is now in the story. More cute shit. Is literally that meme. Cute one of me and Thunder eating fish, Zerako freaking the fuck out. It was a thing with all DPs, they all hated fish. Like, it was a species thing, every of those fucks hated fish. And now it is all just Zerako. Like, eventually that just became a Zerako only trait. And now Zerako just doesn't like fish. He doesn't really hate it anymore. He just won't, like, cook with it. And to be fair, we eat vegan, so it's not like he's going to do that. It's just, if we have, like, vegan fish ever, that's usually me and Author enjoying that. Cute one with all of us dressing up as Link, because Author had a special interest in Zelda since ever early, like very, very young, and we still do. We're still obsessed, all of us. These are the cute dolls. This little doll that Zerako mentioned earlier that Author's friend would like kidnap. Very cute little guy. We still have him. He's just upstairs. This cute little one of me as well in the same style. Markable punchy moment. Markable plushy moment is what I meant. Cat Bonehill doll is like Hollow Knight. I do. Oh my god. Why have I never noticed that? I love that. I love the Hollow Knight style. Never played it, but love looking at it. More shit in Rumaro that's very cute. I need to stop scrolling. This is me in like Author alter moments. This is one where, dear gosh, I can tell she's getting tired, and Author's going like, Bonehill, look, I'm a cat, mew mew, and like we have like little cats that like represent each other, which Artie brought up, and I did not realize until Artie did. It's very, very cute. This is one where I'm saying, why can't I be in real life so I can hit the flipping ball out of the way? Because Author would get hit in gym class all the time because they have a very slow reaction time. And that's just very, very precious. And so character of me. That so makes sense because I'm not real. That's what not real people do. So singlet core. OMG. So this is a fun video. So with OBS virtual camera, you're not going to hear the audio, and that's good because there's no audio. So this works out in this case. Unfortunately for the music that we eventually composed, which isn't a ton, but there's some, we'll see how our voice is doing. We might sing it to you and serenade you, otherwise you just won't hear the old music from that era, and that's okay. Because you're going to hear it in the comic dubs coming up. But anyway, this was Typical Day. This is also, so, can you play it please? I might have to go into slideshow mode. Which actually, that's gonna fuck up my OBS. Hold on. I didn't realize it wouldn't play it in edit mode, which does make sense, but... let me see. OBS, what are you doing? Oh, there we go. Now it's playing. Okay. As I scrolled away from it right as it was gonna play. It was gonna do it. It was gonna do it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. It's working. I just will need to fix OBS a little later. Yeah, so let's skip ahead. Dinner Complaints starring Zerako and Malko. Malko is basically my little brother. He's just me as a furry, but tiny. Zerako shouting he wants Taco Bell. Malko wants Subway, that's canon. I want Subway more than Taco Bell half the time. Them slap fighting each other. Again, this is just shit, such normal shit between characters in the headspace. This is cat face. Zerako saying, haha, this is hilarious, as there's a cat sleeping on my face. I look on our very real Instagram caption, where Zerako posted it on, like, social media in, like, the universe. I say, hey, Zerako, and he's like, yeah, I hope you weren't planning on living much longer, and I'm about to, like, throw an anvil at his head. And then Zerako's typing help. Where is he typing? I don't know, somewhere, and he's not getting it. And this is one where, these are both authors, like, self-inserts. Yeah, Aisha, she was just, this is just authors like Zelda Sona, honestly, or Link Sona, and then Thunderleaf. They're talking about me, he's such a creep, OMG, I know, right? Like, OMG, his breathing, it's so, like, creepy, OMG, so creepy. I'm surprised you two haven't noticed how creepy you are right now. I'm like, OMG, his voice, so creepy, OMG, I know, right? And I just, like, give them this face, and it's funny. Legend of Zelda Sona, we love that. Yeah, so this is, there's just, especially in 2014, there's just so much Alter Core stuff, it's just so funny. How we thought we weren't alters pre-2015, I don't know. Alright, so let me, I'm just going into OBS real quick to make sure I can edit this, because it's off-center now for some reason, and that is going to bother my ass. Close enough. I think we can see most of it. That's gonna have to work for me. Anyways, this was a Rinmaru thing. Me and Zerako were actually getting along. This was captioned, if only Bonehill and Zerako had a good relationship with each other, which is so funny. Also, I have cat ears and I find that adorable. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to deal with the slideshow being off-center. It's just gonna bother me and me alone. The gay question marks never not get funny. And so this is the first version of Ultika. Ultika also comes in here, kind of, technically. Ultika's strange because apparently she was basically 3 separate people before merging into one punk-ass entity. So over here is Casa. This was Zerako's mom at the time of the story. This is Seer, who was Zerako's sister in the story. And then this was Yuriko, who was just a cool lady in the story. I don't know what she was doing. But eventually Seer and Yuriko merge. And then Yuriko is Zerako's sister. And then eventually Casa becomes Ultika, and then we start seeing the Ultika iterations, and then eventually Yuriko and Ultika merge much later on to become the punk-ass cool mom lady we know her as today. And yeah, at the time, Casa, very just timid, stereotypically, traditionally feminine, just kind of passive mom, I don't know, trope. Not very, there's not a lot to her in this era. Also not a lot to see her. Yuriko's kind of the only one with personality, to be honest. This one's very adorable because this is when cosplays as Zerako for the first time, which, looking back, this is absolutely just Zerako fronting all hell because he was so happy. Like, we don't have it pictured here, but he took like 10 selfies of himself with the wig on and the exact same face angle, like barely any different, like, selfies of just the wig, because he was so excited to see himself. And it's very adorable. But it's very funny that we didn't clock in on that. Like here, I remember like author thinking like taking the selfie in the car window, going like, "Wow, I'm in such the Zerako mood today. Like I'm getting really into like Zerako's character," and it's like, you're not. He's just very happy and loud about it. Like this is one of our favorite pictures, lying down in the grass. Just a very good time. This is the same red wig we have today that Zerako currently uses to basically dress as himself more accurately. Eventually we want to make him his own wig that's much more bigger because he has way bigger, longer hair now, but at the time this was very fitting for what his design did look like. Some very tall grass. These are some good old bushes. Yeah, Minnesota's got a lot of cool, I don't know, bushes and foliage and shit. Alter turning point. So now we're back. So me and Zerako, obviously alters. Apparently we're both caretaker alters, but this is the first time Zerako tries to be a protector alter. We're not going to get into the situation just because it's upsetting, and I do want to keep this lighthearted. Also, I'm running out of time. But needless to say, scary situation. We were not hurt physically. Like, we were fine in that regard, but it was emotionally traumatizing and very upsetting. And Zerako tried to protect, like full on co-fronting for the first time, speaking through author, trying to diffuse stuff. It didn't work, which also triggered his RSD, so they were both just very upset and ignored in that bad situation. And what's so interesting about this is after this point, me in roleplays, me in the story, I became way more cold and stoic and like logical. Like, you've seen me use the fucking colon 3 face and shit, and be very, very much more emotive and goofy. After this point, I'm very much not. And that checks out because I am now the protector alter, and this is absolutely when it very much started. Gone are my days of doing cute emoticon cat shit. And there you go. Oops. That happened. And then the draft. So we've, I showed a brief interaction, like my very first introduction into the story when it was a novel. Now we have I'm not going to read, obviously, the whole fucking thing. There's 330 pages. This is like the longest version of the story we ever wrote. We were trying to finish it by NaNoWriMo. Like, it was a whole thing. We didn't finish it. Zerako's not in it, and I'm very sad. So I do have some snippets, because Muroko is in this one as well. So now we have like bits of where Muroko comes in, where I come in. We didn't finish it. Like, the 130 pages wasn't even done, which is terrifying. Like, we were kind of close, but yeah, it was so much. Like, it was insane how much we wrote. It does show that we were rushing at a lot of points because NaNoWriMo and this late 2014 is when 9th grade starts. That's the trauma catalyst of stress from school being like so much. But we do get just gems of what the fuck's going on. But yeah, so yeah, this is a chunky boy. So this was the revised version of my introduction into the story. So I read the very first one before, where I'm being all evil and villainous. This is one where I'm much more anti-hero, but still not great. I'm just kind of unfortunately anti-hero, and I just don't know what to do about that. I'll let author read this one out. Hello, he said, his voice just as cold as the air around him. This is a similar sentence from before. The person then sighed. I haven't scared you that much now, have I? Thunderleaf couldn't answer that, not with her mouth anyway. So this is like one of the big versions where he's changed, where he's like, shit, I scared you, god damn it. He didn't mean to do that. Fearing me now rather than later is probably more wise, he affirmed, taking long strides around her, his tail bobbing behind him. I'm stimming. Thunderleaf watching him carefully, trying not to make contact with his chilling eyes. There's something I must ask of you, he requested. How long do you plan on staying in the Guardian clan you inhabit as of now, which was Fire Clan? That's not something I'm going to tell you, she reproached stubbornly. Bonehill's eyes peered curiously into her face. How do we know Bonehill's name already? Hold on, when did that come into play? Interesting how you don't inquire how I know such things. So this is where you can also tell he's getting very verbose and like technical sounding in his speech, because that's what was happening in latter half of 2014, and he makes fun of himself for it all the time. I think I've just assumed you're one of those disturbing people that just know a lot of things. I'm just gonna go with it, she replied simply, the fear she once had edging away a little. Bonehill smiled. Is that so? Intriguing. And I noticed your bravery has overcome your previous fear. That was pretty quick. Doesn't mean I don't want to get out of here, she growled. Now I never said that, he said, his tone switching into a dangerously low level. But I'd advise you answer my question before I do grow to be impatient. I'm definitely not pleasant during such times. So that's, revised version where I'm, I guess, being more nice, but also just so much more insufferable, to me anyway. And this was also just, under construction. We weren't pleased with this scene as much, and we wanted to kind of tweak it, but never got there, because once we got to 130 pages, we just did not look at the story again, because it was so stressful to remotely try and finish the damn thing. So now this next part is where we have Muroko, and the part of the story we're in here, Thunderleaf is with Thunderleaf and her little squad. Muroko's a part of it now. They don't know each other super well, but they're traveling together. I think they're trying to get to the DP city. I think that's what's happening here. Why? Yeah, they just are. And then I get mentioned. It's funny. I'll let author take that back. Your hair matches your element or something, or does it just make you feel stylish? So this is where she's talking about DPs. Muroko rolled his eyes and shouted, because they're on a dragon. Also, this should be noticed, they're on a dragon shouting over the wind, torrenting around them. He shouted, it matches our DP type. You've already discovered mine is Shadow, Danu's is Ice, another character, don't worry about him. They do match... Mom's laughing because Bono hates Danu. We're purposely not talking about him. That's later. So yeah, they do match our element in a way. Just Smec's oh man, I remember it. I hate that fuck and I want him dead. But I'll talk about that later. And then Thornleaf, who's one of Thunder's friends, and he'll come more relevant to Zerako and Bonehill a little later. But he says, they also decide who a DP is. He joined in, looking bright with interest, like shadow DPs are pessimistic and morose, just like Muroko. He nudged Muroko's shoulder with a jeering smile, and Muroko glared at him. Ice are usually cunning, sly, and cruel, Muroko added. He leaned over to peer at Danu with confusion. He seems to be a bit insane and loud to be an Ice DP, honestly. Thunderleaf thought about that. Cunning, sly, cruel. Like Bonehill, she discovered out loud. Bonehill, Muroko said. Do you not know who he is? Thornleaf exclaimed, looking at Muroko with disbelief. Muroko's ears bent back and he looked away. Why am I supposed to? Be glad you don't know him, said Danu suddenly, his voice lower and sullen. I wish I could forget about everything we've been through. Yeah, me too, you fuck. Bono, shut up. He keeps coming in. Thunderleaf cocked her head at him, becoming curious, but Danu said no more, his back rigid and tense. The only thing moving was his short, spiky blue hair that flailed in the gusts of wind. It sounded like you ate the mic while saying that. He did! When Bonehill's doing that, he is putting himself on top of the microphone to sound awful. That is intent. Thornleaf sighed, breaking the silence. I think we all wish we could get Bonehill out of our lives. This Bonehill sounds like a very wonderful person, Muroko growled sarcastically. Yes, I am a wonderful person. Thunderleaf moved her head over and saw Bonehill lightly perched on the sturdy wing of Danu's dragon. He had his sword in his outstretched arm to the right of him, and his other hand gripping the wing firmly. Hello? How do you do... imagine that. On a flying dragon, he's just on the rib part of the bony part of the wing, just, perched there like a little pigeon. And he's not a little pigeon. We should note, Bonehill's 13 feet tall. I think he forgot to mention that. He's 13 feet tall in this era. He's massive. What is he doing? I'm gonna let him back on before he eats the mic again, talking about Danu. Jesus. Yeah, no, my whole thing, I was just doing insane acrobatics. That's even in drawings, I'm just precariously leaning on shit I should not be able to do. 'Cause I gotta be cool and mysterious and fucked up. And I was.
I was about to say, you did it well.
I'm doing so good.
Yeah.
You're so broken. Yeah, no, Danu is just No, I'm gonna say broken. I said what I said, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep pronouncing what you said wrong. But no, Danu... how do I describe Danu? He was just technically a character I, like, was... It depends on the story iteration. We were, like, childhood friends.
He's a freaking traitor.
In some... Well, yeah, he's a traitor in the what the last, like, part of the story was. Last iteration, rather. At this part of the story, our beef was very confusing, but we had beef. And Danu was more mad at me than I was at him. Now it's very much reversed, and we don't even know if he's necessarily a character anymore, because I just hate him, like, too much. And I couldn't tell you why. I just don't like him. More story happenings. I almost kill Muroko with my sword. Don't worry about it. Like, I think right after that scene...
I love it. Don't worry about it.
Like, I'm chasing after Thunderleaf, and Muroko tries to get in the way of that, so I do, like, slash my sword at him. And then, unintentionally, apparently we fall from the dragon, and I accidentally, in quotes, impale Muroko's foot with my sword, and that was a whole thing, and I was like, oops, my bad.
He was upset about that for some reason.
Yeah, why would he be upset? That's so weird.
Doesn't sound
That's
right.
so whack. Why? That's, like... so silly. In the story too, partly because I am in this weird, like, morally neutral stage where I'm in the story I'm supposed to be more of the villain and not giving a shit, but obviously IRL I'm becoming much more protector, caretaker, alter, much more seriously. So I don't know who I am. In the story, it definitely shows. I don't know who the fuck I am. It's not like I'm anti-hero, becoming, like, taking my role as those alter parts, like, very, very seriously. I was not taking them seriously before. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I was, but I was not, like, very dedicated as I became. I was, like, just kind of doing it just for, I don't know, shits and giggles, before. This is, like, when I become more, literally, like, serious as a personality trait. But yeah, in the story, it's not even like, oh wow, we can't tell what side he's on, he's so mysterious. It shows that I don't know what side I'm on, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Nothing's remotely consistent, and I'm just very confused. It was also funny that apparently Muroko had a fear of girls, but that was just, like, quite literally shown and not, or quite literally told and not shown. Like, in the story, he's understanding and fairly sweet to Thunderleaf. He's just normal and nice. And then he just drops, oh, by the way, I have a fear of girls. Like, since when? And since why? Like, you've shown nothing remotely to that, unless it's because she's a furry. Does that help? Not even that. He was a misogynist. Like, he was just, like, in that sense where he was, like, just scared and just, like, awkward, apparently, to talk to girls. I don't know, like that, young straight boy energy. You tell me. I don't know what he was doing. Clearly, that's not even what was happening. He was just nice. He was just a nice dude. But a fear of women? I don't know. It was just a very funny thing to just have that thrown in there, and I'm trying to, like, read through the doc. I'm like, since the fuck when were you scared of girls? It was just a funny thing with me and Zerako that happened. I think someone drew me, and I was like, well done, smiley face. And Zerako's like, he's smiling, someone take a picture. And another instance where I was like, if you were a complete stranger, I wouldn't be doing this, half hug, and I'm sure I was, like, hugging, like, Speck or something. And Zerako's in the back, like, I really need to get a camera. And then again, someone drew me, and I said, hey, you got my ears right, I feel so loved. And Zerako finally has a camera ready. And I'm like, sorry, Zerako, I'm not smiling. And he's like, dang it, chucks camera, hits Muroko. And then I smile. And Zerako's like, oh, sure, you smile now when I've chucked my camera and I'm about to die. I see how it is. And that's correct. And then, end of the era, this is more so, I think, era 3, like, this is definitely the art style from there, but it's just a nice cap off to all of this, of December 2014, me and Zerako drawn together, coexisting happily, because it's Christmas, you have to, when it's Christmas. And now we have era 3, look at that, I have 30 minutes to spare, I'm so fucking proud of myself, we're gonna keep going, I'm excited. This means I can take my time. And kill my voice. This is the era of why did God allow this? Because Jesus Christ, this is where we really, all of us get angsty, and I say that jokingly. This is where we're getting traumatized by stress, but hee silly, funny, angsty, is how I'm calling it. We're still, the story is still called Thunder, that hasn't changed yet. So this is just a nice thing to show of just like all of us in a nice little art piece together, because author was in creative writing, and so we had to do like poems and shit, and so obviously it was poems about our story, because our story, like, shut up, don't bring him up, don't look at him. This Spec's story. This is Donu over here. This is what Spec's referring to. This is what Donu looks like, or looked like, at least in this part. Fuck him, we don't like him here. Donu. No. That mic's just gonna it's just gonna die because of me. This is Taiku, this is Muroko. Put some mayo on it first. Don't fucking tempt me, I'll do it. Like, 'cause this is the mic that has like little grooves in it and everything too, so like I would ruin it if I did that, and I'm very tempted. This is me, still cat form. It's about to change. Get ready. This is cute little author here, which is so funny that author made a poem about themselves getting up in the morning and how there's so much like various different types of animals and creatures. Like they have this mane of a lion's hair, how they're like an angry, hungry bear when they wake up, which is so funny given they've found that they are agender and love to be a little creature. Like I just love that for them. This was the start. I say the start. They were always agender, just this was one of the first main conceptualizations of it. This is Zerako. This is like his current form in this era, and this was like his old evil self where he was trash. This is another character, he doesn't matter. And let's see, what's it? Yeah, authors in creative writing. Yeah, and this is technically where Muroko's fun, goofy little genocide thing. This is when it was explained where like, oh no, he wasn't trying to kill his people to prevent them from ever fighting in a war, ever at all. This was him, he tried to explode the volcano to scare their enemies away, and he just accidentally killed everybody instead. I guess more tragic, but still kind of funny, from a distance. Yeah, not much else here. I just like to show the cover because it has like a lot of us in it at once. And this one's funny, if you squint. This one's, so in the creative writing class as well, this is where we're at. Me and Zerako, again, we're not in the same story per se. Same universe, not same story. And creative writing was the first time author actually did write us in the same story. And this is, we like to think, kind of showing me and Zerako starting to try to work together a little bit as caretakers. Throughout 2015, this is kind of a gradual theme. It takes quite a while to get there. This is kind of maybe the start of us trying to interact and figure shit out. But I'm not sharing the short story purely because it's just long. There's a lot to go over in it, because what's more interesting is us planning that short story, because we wrote out like all of us talking to each other, brainstorming what we want this story to be, which is also just so singlet core. This is so super normal, and this just really shows like we've always been writing the stories together effectively. We're just now much more aware of it. This is the kind of shit that would happen. So we're like, all right, what's the conflict? Well, we got this kid named Kasai. This is what Zerako's name in the short story was going to be, because this is like us in like a modern AU. And he's been accused of murder. And we'll just have Zerako pop in here for his lines as well. I'm just so frustrated that OBS is just not going to like... Here, what if I minimize OBS? There we go. It's... Oh, Jesus Christ, what did I just do? Okay. Scoot it down here. Alright, will this work? Yes, it will. Okay. Yeah, so he's been accused of murder. No! Dun dun dun. Okay, I don't know. Maybe something less cliche. And then Muroko comes in. How about being accused of setting a Taco Bell on fire? Because that's, yeah, absolutely. No, not the Taco Bell! And Muroko sticks his tongue out. And Taiku's here. Hello. Fine, let's just do murder. I don't know what we were doing. Like, it wasn't a murder mystery. It was just something where I was gonna have to protect Zerako from his criminal past. I don't know. And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do that. Zerako's like, you're supposed to be my fucking protector, my guy. Like, you were failing at this. Oh man, I'm fucking around with all the windows now. My bad. Hold on. I'm trying to like get my OBS just like in vicinity. There we go. There we are. And I say, protecting you ensures that I'll defend you from bodily harm. Doesn't mean I believe you're innocent, like I'm a fucking lawyer. I trusted you, Ashley. No, I never trusted you. Muroko says, way to ruin the drama. So how does Asu get involved? That was my name. I think it was just fire and ice in Japanese through Google Translate. Shout out to Google Translate. Okay, so how about this? Asu's just driving along. Me, driving. He passes by the murder scene where Kasai is getting confronted. Oh, look, murder. That's cool. Continues to drive. That's accurate. It's I'm innocent, you fish taco sucking jerks, which is an insult I would say all the time for no good reason, but I was obsessed with saying it. That he just comes home and makes ramen or something. I don't know. Me just eating my ramen. This is the whole point of the story was like ramen was like a central theme. Here's a knock on the door, opens it. Zerako, mouthful of ramen, and I just look at him like, can I fucking help you? Can I have some ramen? No. It's like, please? No. Slams door. If I say I love you, will you give me ramen? Definitely not. It's like, please, I'm hungry. Makes dying dragon noise, which I can only assume was just or something. Like, I would make very odd noises because vocal stimming, yeah. Everyone's staring at me. I think I almost heard our throat doing that too. And Voto's still like, no, it's not giving you it. Yeah, and I say, my sister's here, because of course she is. Everyone's popping in for the conversation. She's like, Bonehill, what's wrong with you? Why don't you give him ramen? And Bone's like, plenty of things are wrong with me. It's like, I need food. It's like, I have sushi in the fridge. It's like, oh god, not the sushi, fuck! He cackles. That was like a whole thing. Like, Bonehill always, he always has loved sushi, and I fucking hated it. Yeah, it's just the fish thing. Now it's just whatever. I just don't want it myself. It's like, I don't want sushi. My man's is just like aiming this shit at my face. And Bonehill eats sushi. I'm just like, oh, cool. I am spared. I'm not spared. He spits it out at my face. And I just fall down the steps. And this is how I, in quotes, this is author talking, how I plan stories. Because this is so normal of us. So we love to see that. Also, real quick, I'm trying to see with the OBS thing, if I am clicked out of it, are we lighting up on the screen? Is my icon lighting up right now, like, on and off? Can you guys tell me? I want to know. God damn it. Yeah, it is only doing it if we're in it. Okay, that's good to know. So I will just... I wonder if that's in settings. We do have a little bit of time, so I'm going to fucking around with those real quick. Let's see. Because, yeah, ideally we would just be hitting our hotkeys and we could just talk. That's what the plan was. That's not what happened. Let's see. It's not responding. Hold on. You're crashing OBS speedrun. Okay, there we go. Hotkeys. Let's see. Be patient with us here. Let's see. Yeah, I might fuck around with this when we are taking our 1 hour break. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, 'cause I might just have to look shit up. Alright, well, we'll just have to do this the slightly more complicated way. Let me see, can I just minimize the OBS window till it's a little tiny thing? Till it's a wee lad, little guy. I can! They're so tiny! Alright, we'll do this. This is This is easier. Alright, so, that was a whole thing of how we plan stories. We would do this all the time, even with the main story. This is just one of the instances we wrote it down. And it's just adorable where we're trying to plan the first story that me and Bonehill were actually going to be in together. And there you go. Here's some drawings of that. And like, funny enough, these were drawings I wasn't even looking for. I was looking for one of Muroko reacting to his genocide, which sounds awful, but there was just a drawing that would have been cinematically perfect to put on the slideshow for this. And I couldn't find that, but I found fucking these, and I forgot these existed. So here's cursed human me. I hate it. I don't like this drawing in particular, just because any drawing of me I don't hate for the skill level. I hate because it doesn't look like me. And that's upsetting. More than anything. I'm like, that's not me. That's, nasty. This is a cute one where Zerako's modern AU clone is like carrying my ass. The imposter syndrome among us, literally. Is an imposter. I'm saying, it mildly surprises me how you're managing so well, and he's like, please, this is not hard at all. It's not like you eat much, and that is canon. I'm not mad I found these drawings. They're cute. Well, the one of me and Zerako is. Fuck whoever that guy is on the right, but... the next part of 2015, oops, Muroko's possessed. The genocide thing is still a thing. Not only that, our man's has even more problems. So this is where we get Veldari. Man's is... an actual evil Shadow DP, because Shadow DP is still evil. Everyone's like, ooga booga, we don't like him. And Vel just not helping that. He's from 100 years prior in the timeline, and he died, and now he's possessing Muroko to regain his strength or something. I don't know. I don't know what else he's doing, and I don't know why he's doing anything. God bless. Thank you for being here, Fireblocks. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's awesome. Enjoy your dinner, and hope to see you again soon. Do you we're going to be back in, probably after the break, so that'll work out fine. But no worries. And in 2015 as well, or this era per se, era 3. Blue. I know he looks really blue here. Compared to Veldari, Muroko looks very blue. But yeah, having spirit guardians, this is a trend in 2015, if you will. We'll get more into it a little later. But effectively, multi-elementers. So Thunder's whole thing being a multi-elementer, hers was like natural. That was just genetic, because her father had that power. In this one, multi-elementers are basically purposefully made. So basically, they're made by taking someone who died, like a spirit, and whatever element they had, you force their spirit to inhabit someone else, and now that person has whatever element they were born with, as well as their spirit's element. So for example, Thunder was born with water. She forcibly had to house a fire spirit, and now she has fire and water. Or something. Like, that was kind of the main idea. And technically that was actually a world-building thing from even years prior. Like, I was doing that shit. I was, like, making my own multi-elementers to go against Thunderleaf and her dad or whatever. And I was just shoving spirits into people or whatever to give them all these elements.
I don't remember that. Wow, okay, fine.
Yeah, I was doing funny little creative things. And that was it. And that was just like a focal plot point here in 2015. Now you're just focal. This is the way multi-elementers are made. But Vel and Muroko are the same element. They're both shadows, so I don't know what they're doing. But congrats, Muroko. Making your life even harder. Here's a cute drawing of Muroko and Taiku, because again, they're only 2 years age gap apart, and Muroko doesn't really become a protective older brother until, I guess, later in life. So here he is, just like sitting on Taiku, and Taiku's like struggling, I don't know, breathe. And there's a cute drawing of Taiku, cool drawing of Muroko, and this is when DPs also get tails, and they're just like little ropes. This ref was made a little later into the year when the tails just became massive, like they are now, but at the very beginning there's 2 little ropes. And this is a very cool drawing that we never got to finish. This is one author had started full disclosure, this dragon was very heavily referenced from an image, and I don't remember where that image is. So, full disclosure, we didn't fully draw this dragon on our own per se, but still, Muroko himself looks really cool. This was when author was trying to go for more lineless, painterly style, because that's what a lot of artists we looked up to, like, that's the style they did. So that's what they were trying to do. And honestly, like, it was working. Like, this is genuinely, like, still, like, a pretty good piece. We would love to try to redraw it sometime. But, you know, big monumental piece. I know author was, like, really proud working on this, so I had to showcase it, even though it never got finished. We have more drawings of Muroko here. These were, like, later, like, late 2014, if I remember right. This is, like, a little ref of Muroko. This was, I think, an attempt of a redraw of that, like, cool piece of Muroko for 2014, where he's just, like, shirtless and shit. I think we were redrawing that. I don't know. And then a cute little chibi of Muroko over here. Oh, that's so sweet, Spec. Yeah, honestly, like, author was the most insecure about their art in this era, but, like, there's a lot of good shit, like, deadass. Like, especially, like, some of these Muroko expressions, like, these are our favorite. Did someone in the system have a crush on Muroko? Oh my god. Like, in your system? Oh no. Godspeed.
Poor baby.
I mean, that would check out. But yeah. Let's see. I mean, who wouldn't? The absolute star-stutter, back then in particular. And here's just, I think this is baby Muroko. Little soft baby boy, more expressions. That would be funny, Spec. Yeah, so I guess this was, yeah, older Muroko, and this is younger, I assume. This is from the same era, I'm pretty damn sure. Yeah, oops, I'm a man. This is the end of the furry era. Technically, like, throughout 2015, I could, like, switch back to my anthro form, because yes, but also why and how, I don't know, and no one does. It was just, I was attached to being a furry, and I didn't want to lose it. But next year I'd just completely lose it, but in this year I'm holding on to it. Yeah, see, here's the funny thing. This is my fresh out of jail outfit. This is the, I'm only in this outfit for one scene in the story. This is, technically I would still have my sort of trench coat vibe. I think I had a trench coat by this point, or at least some sort of cool, you know, edgy ass outfit. This was the only ref author ever made of me during this year, so this is all we have. So it has these big black ice gauntlet shit, and it looks really dope, but I don't have the muscles to support having giant claws again, so alas. I mean, maybe beast claws, that would be a little different, but OMG, like, your brain just goes OMG anime, because it should. That's what's happening. This is the anime era. This is, like, we're really into anime and shit. Like, we were the previous year in 2014 as well, but, like, this year, like, really, really especially into it. And this is where we have really complicated ears. I don't know if you can see this, but this is, like, the top part of the ears open, then it's, like, closed here, this little half circle, and then it's, like, open again. I don't know, and I don't know. This was, I think, our little brain going, oh, we have to be super unique. We can't just have cat ears, because that's not unique. We gotta be original and, like, I don't know, creative and shit, I don't know. And this is what comes out of that. Like, not a bad ear design, per se. Like, if we liked this, we could keep it, but we don't like it, so we didn't keep it. That was a very cute little puff tail. Let's see. My whole story thing, I was trying to save the multi-elementers, because I was almost turned into one as a child, and obviously it's probably a little traumatic to get spirits shoved in your ass. And also trauma, question mark. Like, I had, like, in the story, I had, like, a best friend at 5 years old that my dad was like, oh, that's so cute. What if I kill her, actually? Dumb bitch. Emotions are bad for you, lol. And I was stoic ever since, and so dramatic about it. Like, literally, I'm a very dramatic, just almost poetically angsty ass. It's kind of funny. And again, yeah, I'm getting formal, technical, stiff, and speaking, like, really bad in this era. This is when I, like, fully commit to it, almost committing to the bit. It's just, I don't like it personally. It's very, I just don't like who I am in 2015 either, because I'm also just mean. Like in the story, I'm a hero now. I'm no longer the villain. That's also important. But to Zerako, I'm an asshole, and we'll get into why. But it doesn't make it any better, and I still hate it. Also, I'm an anime white boy, so I feel the need to make fun of myself. So this is, for example, one of my poetic ass angsty things I said. Was just because I'm alone doesn't make me lonely at all. If friends I make are just going to be taken away from me, I don't see a point in making them at all. They mean nothing to me. Love is like a poison. It will slowly eat away inside you, and you will be oblivious to its effects until it blinds you so much you suddenly feel its pain all at once and realize what has happened to you. Then it eats away further at you until you are a hollow shell of your former self. Calm the fuck down. Someone just asked if you wanted to be friends. Like, that's it. That's all that happened. I'm so broken, dude. It's so funny. This is just a cool art piece that definitely just, poetically explains that. I may seem strong, but I'm about to erupt inside, and it was like a volcano metaphor for an ice guy. I was like, whoa, that's so cool and swag. But yeah, that was kind of the shit I was on. I love that. This was Malco, who we saw in the typical day little video. This is him humanoid. I have since absorbed him in the womb. He doesn't matter. Literally, he was just me, but lazy, which is me now. So, congrats, you are swallowed. And then here's just some artwork of me. So, here's me in my, ice armor from the previous year, just for fun. This is me in, the Rin Maru, one of the outfits you could choose for the people was, this white shirt with, a black, t-shirt underneath. I just stole that, and that was my outfit now. Why I'm, smirk smiling in this way, I don't like it. This is not my face. It's not me. And there's also me. This is, author trying to also figure out my hair as well. I think I even had different bangs at one point. I just didn't find that art. Because without my horns, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is my hair doing? It worked out here, but, there are a lot of times where authors, I don't know how to fucking draw this, and I don't blame them. And also, here's some more detailed art of, those weird-ass ears. So, the other cat people that Thunder was, which is Sakura, this is what their ears looked like. I guess Fangon's a slightly different shape. Just everyone has the complicated ears. This is just Zerako yelling about a fish taco in the corner. Don't know why. This is a doodle page. Oops, Zerako's traumatized. This is the most edgy photo I could find of him, and it fits. There's, not a lot of digital art from this era quite yet, because we're getting our bearings with digital art still, but there's tons of traditional art, and this is just so angsty and just edgy, and I love it because it's accurate. He has literally the most grueling backstory in this era, out of everyone, even Muroko, and we've talked about Muroko. This man's just possessed, accidentally committed genocide, he's going through shit. Zerako's somehow going through more shit. To be fair, Muroko's is partly just bad actions. Zerako's is just bad things are just happening to him. His whole, it's still a similar thing where he's ostracized for being a DP or still having his DP powers, and so the government doesn't like him, etc., etc. And this does relate to him being an alter, because what we do realize, especially beginning at this point, is the story is reflecting our mental state, particularly me and Zerako's. So Zerako's going through a time in 2015. He's not enjoying himself. I'm not going to get into details why, because it does make him upset, understandably, because it's personal shit when your story's that angsty and it's reflecting how you're feeling inside. But anyway, he's going through it. He does get better, obviously. This is not forever, but we are just all just angsty teenagers, all having a bad time. But that's so fine, because look at all this cool art of him. I love him. Look at him. This is a redraw from the previous year of him throwing fire while shirtless. This is you can definitely tell the style beginning to change. This is later 2014, then we have more 2015 style. This is him being I'm so stylish, wink, flirting, because he's still kind of is a flirt. Wow, Zerako. Exactly. Some cool expressions of him as well. This also looks like a younger him, but I'm pretty sure it was just him as is. Oh yeah, Zera was around, Zera was around until, 2018. When did she die? Zera was around since at least 2018. Maybe 2019, actually. 2019. But yeah, Zera was one of Spec's characters that Zerako was involved with. Yeah, just lovely art of my husband being cool and angsty about stuff. Oops, Ultika is not with us. I'm saying this because Author's mom understandably does not like me saying she is in the afterlife several times, because that is my favorite joke to make. But
About me, it's not funny.
Yeah, Enter is not funny, and that's very valid. But effectively, yeah, because I mean, Zerako's story is sad, so of course Ultika cannot be alive. She would make it so much better. We can't have that. She's in the ether, exactly. Ultika's in the ether, just vibing out. This is one of the first, like, refs. This is when, like, Ultika really starts looking like Ultika, right? Like, similar kind of choppy white hair. Let's see, I think her eyes are blue now, not green, but back then they were green. She's got, like, this really cool, like, flowy dress on and stuff. Would love to, like, redraw her in that same thing. And this is Uriko. This is when Uriko and Seer merge, rather. And let's see. Yeah, so Ultika is still, like Yuriko's the really sassy kind of punk-ass side that Ultika eventually gets. Right now, this Ultika's very stoic. She's still playful. She's not stoic like me, being an angsty fucker-ass, but she's still, like, very stoic, just in her own way. We have Thunder's also now a person. So now Thunder, because Author got short hair in the same times, therefore Thunder also gets short hair. The black and white's still there. Since her elements would all combine into purple, now we just made her tail purple, which honestly I really like the design of. I think it's pretty cool. So this is her outfit. It was partly inspired by Natsu, for those that are Fairy Tail OGs in the chat. Natsu was Zerako's favorite character, 100%, but Author also really liked him, so she's got the pants. This is one of Author's just favorite tops, I think. Honestly, really cool outfit. For a time where we were just awful at outfits, and for a very long time we were very bad at coming up with them. Pretty cool outfit. Fire and water powers. Funny enough, like, in the story, because we have some written stuff, she's so clearly disabled, because Author's honestly so clearly disabled, at least when it comes to, like, exercising. Like, Author has vocal cord dysfunction, which means, I say Author, we technically all share it. Where if we exercise, our vocal cords close up, and it's very hard to breathe. It's like the upper respiratory version of asthma. Asthma is more of the lower respiratory system of the lungs. Ours is more up in the throat. And Thunder very clearly exudes that, and gets in, like, pain when running and stuff. Like, clearly is not able-bodied, but Author did not really clock themselves as disabled, let alone Thunder the character as disabled. But very, very clearly Thunder's disabled in the story by this point. Godspeed. And to cap it off, since we're about a minute from our break, this is a very cool raffle prize we got from Crispy Cocoon on DeviantArt. If that is still their username, shoutouts. This is a very cool drawing of me and Thunder, and it's very funny, and yeah, it's mainly just funny, as people obviously in the comments did not know the story. Why would they? But people were saying how I look like I'm just fucking fed up carrying Thunder, and I'm as if I'm thinking to myself, walk on your own damn legs, lady, which is like, I'm sorry, I have a resting autism bitch face, let me live. Like, I swear I'm not angry about carrying Thunder, I'm fine with it. I'm a caretaker, it's okay. You know, obviously people don't know that, it's more of a joke. Which, you know, what can you do? But still, very cute drawing. It does, like, represent me and Author's relationship well, as well as me and Thunder's relationship, because that's practically mirrored. It's just really cool art that we obviously wish we could have done at the time. Like, this is the style we really tried to do back then. And, you know, it's just nice. So it is now 1 o'clock. We gotta take a 1 hour break. Our throat is sore. I have to make the tea that we hate so much that coats our throat, and, you know, I'm just gonna have to live with that. And we'll be back in the hour to finish up 2015 and go into 2016. Cause holy shit, strap in. That's when shit still gets wild. It's not done being wild. It keeps going. But
it's
yes.
a roller coaster ride.